want to look at a terrifying case which has transpired in a deserted area of Nuevo León in Mexico. There's a little town called Koala, which is accessed by a pretty long and desolated stretch of road, and in that little town is an abandoned and really run-down school building, which was named the Benito School and founded by the governor Don Jose Vichanzo in 1954. The old building still tells the tales of long-forgotten students and people who ventured to this deserted place. The following incident has been made public by a news station. It features a young man who ventured to this old place to investigate it. His name is Gabriel Martinez Navarro, and he made his video public on November the 10th. Apparently he was interested in many of the local tales that were saying that some unearthly forces were still inheriting this old place. There was only one way to find out: driving there by himself.
Pues aquí voy rumbo para la escuela del Barrancón, aquí en Gualahuises. Es que vine a investigar yo solo. Y pues medianoche. Vengo a ver porque vi un video donde pues 5 pelados bien peludos. Sale una voz al principio del video diciendo: me duele mucho. Pero yo no sé qué chingados le duele a un fantasma. La era neta. Yo no sé qué chingados le duele a un fantasma. Entonces pues yo vengo acá solo para enseñarles de que pues no hay nada. No hay nada, porque pues como para que estén engañando a la gente, pues como que no.
After driving for quite some time, he finally makes it onto the premises and looks for a way in.
Esta es la escuela que tanto les decía. Ay, voy a escuchar.
What was that?
Escuché.
It appears that Gabriel has captured a disembodied voice without noticing it at that moment. How curious. Maybe an omen that he was in for an interesting night?
Por allá hay una novia. Pero la novia no me metía. Porque ese culo. Y al chile sí tengo un poquito de miedo. Un poquito nomás. Pero esta es la escuela. La escuela San Benito Juárez. La 1954. Esta madre. A ver, enfoca bien. Ahí está esta madre. Esta madre no se abre. Uy, güey, me caí con eso. Es todo lo que... Mira nomás, esta sí está abierta. Pues ya vieron, güey. Puro pinche pedo, no hay ni madres a la ver. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, no mames. No mames. Pésate.
Suddenly, stuff is moving on its own, and the young man is getting pretty afraid of the activity.
¿Quién es? ¿Quién es? Ay, qué vergas pregunto, güey.
Besides the terrifying paranormal activity in this building, something has Gabriel shook to the core, and you might have missed it. Let's take another look. Something seemed to be peeking around the corner, right at him, and it's pretty certain that it wasn't your average person. What happened that night in this derelict school building? Did the young man maybe fall victim to a haunting that turned him into a believer? Who knows? What's your explanation? The following TikTok has been recorded by user Jenny Mains. She actually doesn't have many videos on her profile and mostly shares moments of her and her friends out in the fields or hanging out. The clip I'm about to show you is similar, yet there's a pretty creepy element to it. Apparently they came across this abandoned house in the fields and Jessie decided to record it, not noticing anything at the time. Once she was home, it was a terrifying find. Have you noticed it? Let's look at that again. Her viewers believe that she caught an apparition moving in the doorway. Especially in the first couple of frames, it is noticeable that there seems to be standing something, and then we see it move all of a sudden. Some say it looks like a spirit in a dress, maybe a female, that was living in that house back in the day. And what is going on with the windows here? Notice how there seems to be a little spot moving, and then all of a sudden it appears that the lady can be seen once more, hovering to the right. What do you guys make out of that? Is it just a hoax? A friend perhaps? Pretty good editing? Or a paranormal event unfolding? I have to say, it looks pretty intriguing to me. Now we take a look at the case of Ashley Kettering, who is a young mother and realtor who shares her daily thoughts with the internet. However, something happened a couple of days ago, something that she couldn't explain, and that scared her and her kids quite a lot. For whatever reason, her CCTV camera captured something coming up the stairs from the basement, and she had no idea what was going on there. Apparently it was not a pet. I know, my first thought was a cat as well, but the family doesn't own any. So, where does that leave us? After realizing what they had caught, she places the camera right at the top of the stairs on one of the following nights, and captures this. Even if that is a cat, it looks pretty strange, semi-transparent, I don't know. But what followed should definitely rule out it being an animal. At least that is what her viewers believe. So, is this house haunted? A possible spirit? Looks almost like a lady in a nightgown, or a dress, or was it something else? The following recordings were compiled by owner Veronica S., who at the end of this haunting journey had to move places due to the many paranormal events unfolding in her own apartment. Apparently, it all started with her having some strange encounters in the middle of the night. Strange noises, shadows, the typical strangeness. She's a single mother and took these terrifying events to heart. As a non-believer, she suspected some foul play and decided to install camcorders in her home. She had her friend come into the apartment one night, and this is when they captured the following. People suspect that it could have been a friendly spirit of a former owner perhaps, but it gets even more creepy. The next clips have been captured the following nights. Doesn't this look like the spirit of an elderly lady? When they try to contact the spirit that particular night, the baby boy starts crying again. But what's even more terrifying is that the door seemed to be stuck shut and they had to use a lot of force to budge it open.
Are you in the boys' room?